Revenge films.
Even being married for 3 years, my husband and I could never conceive any children. I was examined for anything wrong, and there wasn't. I thought I should have my husband get examined too, but he didn't like the idea. Well, I suppose men think it a sensitive subject, and I could understand why he didn't want to, so I just left it at that. However, I discovered him cheating on me soon after. To my surprise, he was recommended another girl, a colleague at his job, by his mother. And after having sex, he got her pregnant. I told my mother-in-law that nothing was wrong with me according to the examination results, but it was as though she was so proud her son conceived a child with his cheating partner.
I knew you were the reason why you couldn't have children. You're useless. You're a failure as a woman, you lying, deceitful bitch.
She straight up insulted me to my face. Indeed, everything tested normal at the hospital, but hearing her words, I started to think it really was my fault, and I became increasingly depressed. The final blow came when the woman stormed the house. There was always the fact that my mother-in-law never liked me because I married her son for love, so naturally she took the other woman's side and said,
"We're done with someone like you, who can't fulfill her duties as a woman. Get out of this house, you piece of trash!"
The other girl said,
"So you could never conceive, huh? I got pregnant right at the first time."
She condescended me. Perhaps my husband found out the problem was him, once he knew my results showed nothing out of the ordinary. But now he started criticizing me, seemingly with the upper hand because he could conceive a child.
Your body wasn't capable to help make a baby, so I went out into the world and made one for you. So I think you have no right to complain about anything.
For some reason, even though I was the victim in a series of events, I was being treated like I was the bad guy. Furthermore, he said,
It's your fault you couldn't make a baby! You lied to us, so you have an obligation to pay us compensation!
Then my mother-in-law started telling neighbors,
"This girl lied to my son about being capable of having a baby. A goddamn bitch."
The aftermath sent me spiraling into deeper mental turmoil. And in the midst of my illness, I began to think I really had to pay them compensation and divorce my husband. During that time, by happenstance, my younger sister contacted me and I told her everything. When I told her that I had to sign a divorce and move back home, she was furious. She promptly went to the house of my husband and his mother and said,
"Don't be freaking stupid, you stupid head! Why does my sister, who was cheated on, have to pay you compensation? That's just freaking bullshit! You're the ones who should be paid, fooling my sister like that! Who do you think you are?"
She pulled a tantrum. Just so you know, my sister is now a businesswoman. But she might as well have been raised with wolves. She was often mischievous and irrational as a young girl. My husband and his mother, completely overwhelmed by my sister's raw fury, paid me compensation for cheating on me, and the divorce later became official. After divorcing me, my ex had his child, and it was truly his. Brood parasitism was ruled out definitely. My mother-in-law had him run a DNA test on the baby, so there's no doubt about that. However, it was discovered that the newborn was disabled. My ex-mother-in-law happily recommended divorce to him once again, and right as he was about to do it, the girl took off, leaving the baby abandoned with him. Carrying a newborn and wondering what to do, they somehow came up with the idea of calling me for help.
You can't conceive any children even if you want to, so be happy! I'm letting you take care of this one. You should actually be grateful.
Of course, I rejected the offer immediately. To be direct here, I'm no in-laws of a child's. So my ex said back to me,
You don't think it's sad to see a child abandoned?
"It's very sad. The baby was thrown away by its mother, after all. So, as its father, it's obvious you should take care of it, isn't it? This has nothing to do with me." In any case, my ex was approaching another younger girl in his company, not just the one who bore his child. Before my divorce, she asked for my contact information and we met, and I was in phase when she told me she was also pregnant. I told another pregnant girl, the second girl superior, that we were arguing, and that I was divorcing and that she shouldn't have anything to do with him. That girl demanded compensation from him later on. Apparently, he said he was going to stay with me, even though I was infertile, and lied to her. She then had an abortion. My ex and his mother kept that a secret, though. The girl later left the company, but I asked her, "Do you think there are other girls in the company who have the same result?" She spread info about all this around the company, and that's how I found out that there was another victim, rather a cheating partner, and she told me everything after she already left the company too. By the way, except for the first woman, the others regretted their actions and gracefully paid me compensation for having affairs with my ex. Maybe my ex had this habit, or something, of cheating. Maybe he was doing well in keeping those urges under control, but when he started to suspect he was the infertile one, it seems they overflowed a couple times, and then his mother backed him up. And that's the stallions broke free from their chains and wreaked havoc on a couple bodies. By the way, the first girl, his new wife, never came back. I'm not sure if they divorced or not, but he's living with his mother and his child, the three of them. And life is harder than they thought, it seems. He was bombarded by demands for compensation left and right, and he even tried to seduce girls who were already married. Although it's quite obvious by this point, his impression within the company became poisoned, and he's sure to be fired. Of course, no girl's attracted to him anymore. Even now, I sometimes get postcards from him, around the New Year or during the peak of summer. Written intertwined with words of greetings are words of financial suffering, and that he needed money. His hair is getting thinner. What did he ever do wrong? He even said,
Is this child even my own?
Hey, your mother DNA checked him, remember? I have no idea if he was hoping for help, or worse, of us getting back together if everything went well. I haven't the slightest feeling of doing any of those, and this was getting annoying by this point. I told my parents to just throw the postcards away or refuse to accept them whenever they were delivered. My ex had to pay compensation to multiple people. He was going to be fired from his job. His child is disabled. All these things are driving him to the ground. But like hell, I'm gonna give a goddamn shit. As for me, after a while, I decided to start anew in a new city and moved away. I started working part-time at a convenience store, but my boss really approved of my work, and we became a couple soon after. He proposed rather quickly afterwards, and I remarried. And to my great surprise, I was with child very quickly. Because of that stupid mother and son, I was convinced my body wasn't right for getting pregnant, so when I noticed my period was overdue, I thought to myself, no, there's no way that happened. I can't have a child, it's not possible. But I remembered everything was normal when I was examined at the hospital, so I visited the gynecologist skeptical and came down overjoyed to find I really was pregnant. No shot, I'm pregnant? There's a baby in my belly? Before I got married to my current husband and I told him, I was examined at a hospital in the past and everything was normal, but I couldn't get pregnant and have children with my first husband, so I don't think you can hope for children with me. I was completely honest with him. He replied,
I don't mind at all. I love you.
So I was hoping to spend a quiet married life with my current husband. We were both going along with that plan, so we were so happy when we found out about the pregnancy. Everything went smoothly, and we were soon blessed with a baby girl. After everything, a little bird told me that without much money, my ex and his mother later started to despise raising a child, and were arrested for alleged negligence and abuse after pretty much leaving the child for dead. A neighbor heard the child crying from inside the house and called the police after noticing the crying never stopped. That was when the alleged negligence was first confirmed. The child is under official custody now. And with my ex and his mother being both arrested, they'll be put in the child's home. I think it's much better to go there than to be raised by such dickheads.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.